And we are live for the 58th episode of the TRU-U podcast. Today we have the first father-son duo that we've ever had on the podcast, which is exciting. We got Mike and Mike, junior and senior, on with us, generation to generation. So that'll be fun. We'll start with Junior's bio, and then I'll read off Mr. Senior's, and then we'll have some fun. So,
okay.
Mike Jr., also known as Liquid Brain, I'm going to ask about that. And he is from Los Angeles, always has been an artist. And through his artistic journey, he discovered his voice, finding his footing in Lowbrow Pop-Surrealism. Much of his style inspired from music, street culture, native and Chicano culture. His work as a freelance artist has taken him literally all over Los Angeles County and San Gabriel Valley, participating in a wide variety of creative gigs. In the past few years, he has spent working professionally and runs a tattoo shop in Venice Beach called Kiss Kiss Tattoos. His journey continues as he finds new growth as he translates his Liquid Brain art style into tattoos. And then Mr. Senior, he is also from Los Angeles. He has worked with people in the entertainment industry, and that had sparked an interest for him that eventually led to the radio broadcast field. He trained with a production studio in NoHo, just across the street, actually, from Universal Studios. And he was given the opportunity to work into the on-air staff announcer position and later do the news and traffic, eventually to produce and host his own on-air program, KPCC Music At Night. And all during the day was a talk format. So he also tried his hand in voiceover, it says here, which he had a good opportunity at a few jobs with commercials and corporate gigs. And then now that the competition was getting fierce with the voiceover community, he is taking his roles he's now taking a shot at what he says is the podcast platform, which what we're doing here is as he pursues his desire to bring entertainment and information to the public. So fun bios. We got the junior and senior duo here. That's exciting.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
I'm excited.
Just a quick disclaimer. I don't run Kiss Kiss.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I just tattoo there.
Awesome. Well, hey, that'll work, man. How long have you been with Kiss Kiss?
Since July, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, filmed them through a good friend of mine, and met the owner, Bobby, who's just been proven to be one of the best guys I've worked with in a professional environment. So yeah, it's cool stuff, man.
That's awesome.
Really love it there. Really love it. Super blessed to be there.
Yeah. So tell me about the Liquid Brain.
Liquid Brain.
How'd you come about
it? Yeah. How'd that come up?
Man, that was years ago. And it kind of happened just kind of out of this really horrible misspelling of it.
Really?
Yeah, which I think is the reason why I kept it, because it just I was really inspired at the time with MF Doom. This is what 2005, 2006 maybe, when I kind of came up with this moniker. But I think really being inspired by MF Doom and having like a name for your art was a cool thing for me. And
it also helped to have a brain full of liquid. So
that too. But anyway, yeah, I actually spelled it LIQUD BRANE, and I didn't notice it until I had like written it down in my sketchbook, and someone was going through my sketchbook and was like, you really screwed that whole thing up, man. I was like,
yeah.
And I was looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, I did. There's like a lot of words missing from that spelling. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, that's kind of like that's kind of punk rock. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I kept it. And I kept it misspelled for a long time. And I feel like as I progressed in my art, I started spelling it more correctly. And then when I finally got into tattooing professionally, I was like, it's Liquid Brain. And I think it was just because a lot of people had a hard time looking it up on Instagram and spelling it the way I spelled it.
I love your style. I saw what you did actually on your dad when I met up with you guys for the first time the other day. That was exciting. That's exciting to now have a piece of you on him. Now instead of you having a piece of him, now he has a piece of you too, right?
Man, yeah.
Got a piece of each other. So
yeah, that's right.
I mean,
it seems like you guys have a great dynamic, a great father-son relationship.
I would say we do, since he was a youngin'. We used to, I would take him places with me just to go hang out, and we just had a good bonding time.
Yeah, I think we really bonded through music ultimately, though.
Yeah, through music.
I think you really kind of, your passion for music kind of melted into my passion for creating, which is
it's so fun how I noticed and I've known you guys for a small amount of time, so I pick up on things that are kind of more obvious, or I guess you could say, and the obvious to me was like, man, these guys are two creatives that have different lanes of creativity, but it's really exciting seeing how they both have an impact on each other, and that you guys are supportive of each other's creativity.
I think one common thing that we do have that would be the music background, because there were so many genres that we listen to, and it sort of keeps the commonality between us. So we could have two different areas we'd go off into, but then I'll say, hey, listen to this song, and we share it. And it's like,
in other words, we like the weird shit too.
Yeah. Tell me about the radio days, Mike. You got the voice, and you're supposed to be on the podcast already. Come on.
Oh,
it's exciting. It's exciting.
Thank you.
When I had the chance to talk to you and hear your stories. So how was your whole experience with that?
The experience I would say it was very it was rewarding. Yeah, it was challenging. It was it took me into so many different areas of, I guess, feelings, I guess, because when you go on the air for the first time, you're nervous, and as you move along in the business, you start opening up to different ideas and creative, especially when you sit in on production meetings. The creativity comes out, and it's all like I mentioned to you also. It's all the theater of the mind. When you're on the radio, the person was sitting in their vehicle, and it's what you conjure up for them. It's what's going through their mind at the time, and you're the person who's driving that.
So it's pretty on the fly, like the work that you did. Like, how much of it was prepared versus how much of it was like going with what was like whatever you're experiencing in the moment?
I would say it's 60-40. Okay. I did have some interns that prepared the program ahead of time with the scripts and the music lineups. And all I had to do was just come in and do the show. At times I would work on my own scripts and all that, but I would just come in and do the show.
I think that's an understatement, because I remember you working vigorously on your shows for hours, man. I'd be like, what's that doing? He's writing a script out for the show.
Writing scripts.
I remember him too, kind of like being there, and he would write it old school, man, pen and paper. That's all laid out. Like a different time.
Computer was not the thing back
96, 97.
Yeah.
This was happening.
Now it can be done on the computer and no problem. And back then it was all done by
I wish you still had those notes. That would have been cool.
Yeah, the notes would have been cool if I kept it.
That would have been cool. It just goes to show, like, for me, it kind of, like, those notes kind of translate to all, like, my stencils that I draw out, because I'm like, I want to save these. Who knows where it's gonna be in the future.
And you know how I noticed that his area was in being a freelance artist and all that. It's when he was 5 years old. I was heading off to the office, and he handed me a little caricature of a bird, and he was like 5, and I go, okay, yeah, this is cool, thank you, and I put it in my pocket. And when I looked at it later, one thing stood out. It was the expression of the eyes on the bird. It was just like, it spoke to me, man. I was like, oh, this is cool. And this is a 5-year-old doing this. Like,
you spotted it early on. Yeah, you saw it.
Exactly. He knew there was an expression.
Yeah. Let's open it up a little. I love the creative communicate, like the just whether it's conscious or unconscious, like the communication and the support creatively that you guys have. Like, what do you think? And for this is for both of you. What drives your creativity?
I think it's just like a need, like for me, it's a need. Like I need to draw. I need to like create. I think if I don't do it, I become a more shitty version of myself.
Well, what does doing it do for you? Like, does it like? I would imagine it's kind of an outlet, or it's like a form of like expression. And
yeah, I think it's all of those things, honestly, because it is an outlet for some like severe emotions for sure. But I think ultimately, I think the need to create kind of comes like within, where it's like, like I have this really cool idea. I need to execute it somehow. And how else am I going to make this happen? And I think doing it enough times and like kind of creating, whether it be the smallest thing, idea in your head, as long as once you get it down, it becomes real and becomes in existence. And I think from that's kind of like the inspiration. That's like the passion, when you see it completed, you're like, let's keep doing that shit,
And so, on my end, it's basically the same thing almost. There's that little nucleus of how you want to, for me, I wanted to express what I'm feeling to the public. Okay. And so I'm able to take what's within me, and I want to create it by using music, by using sounds, interviews. It's just something that I just wanted to do. Just throw it all together, and because it's something that's coming from within me, and this is what I wanted to express in my shows and to the public.
What were some of your favorite moments of your hosting shows in the radio? Does anything come up? Any highlight moments for you?
For me was the on-air froze. When I first started, my first day on the air, I didn't go into my scripts or anything. I just went straight to a commercial. Because once that on-air song goes, okay, you can hear the compression in the headphones, feeding out, okay, and here I am on the air for all of Southern California, and this is my first day on, and I what happened was they were like in any business, they were switching scripts on me, and so I was taking scripts and getting rid of one, and suddenly I'm on the air, and I lost my place. I didn't know what I was.
How do you feel like you overcame that though? Because eventually, like that was day one.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
When do you think it when it switched over for you, where you're like, all right, I got this?
Well, I think it was
because you were a badass. I mean, you should have heard this guy on the radio, man.
Let's hear some old clips sometime. I want to hear some. I don't want to. I interrupted that brilliant question there, Junior asked. What? How did you overcome that?
Like, how did you? Like when was the moment you were like, yeah, I got this?
I think the second day on the air. The first day I was like, just nervous and everything. And in the studio there was we call it the hotline, where the music director would call directly into the studio, and after that dead airspace, that phone went off, and I answered, and And she used to be on one of the local classic rock stations, and she was the music director. Her name was Shauna.
Yeah.
And she became the music director there. And so that phone call came in, and she goes, "Mike, what are you doing?" I go, "I lost my space." She goes, "Calm down, you're okay."
She tell you to breathe.
She said, "Take a deep breath and you'll be okay." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I went through, we came back on the air, and it was, first day was shaky, but that second one, I kind of opened up.
Yeah.
And as time went on, it just kept getting better and better and better. And I was able to express myself. I was able to ad lib more, because you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, ad lib on the fly, you know.
Yeah.
And,
because I think your notes kind of just became talking points after that.
Yeah.
You would just go off of that. You're like, all right, I need to write this and this and that.
Yeah.
I think the coolest part of you being on the air for me was the fact that you were able to connect with local, or even just kind of like artists back in the day. In the 90s, it was so different, because it's not like today you get a single on Spotify, and everybody can listen to it.
Yeah. Back there,
these people had
was,
full-on CDs.
everybody
and some of them were really good, and then some of them were just like, dude,
I
go back to your day job, homie. Like,
I remember like the first.
I had we had interviews with people like Train.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Alana Davis. Let's see who else. Well, Black Rose was.
Yeah,
we're around
you
already.
Even had Julian Lennon.
My last interview was with Julian Lennon.
Yeah,
tell us that story.
Yeah, that was
one.
really cool. Michael was there with me, and it was almost like I was sitting in the booth doing my show, and the engineer was sitting on the other side. Right in the middle was the where we set up the interviewee in that little studio, and he came in, the way his mannerism and his, of course, the way he looked, he really resembled his dad.
Yeah.
And his mannerisms, and when he started in on his acoustic set, the engineer called me and said, "Something looks like we're looking right at John Lennon here." And I go, "Yeah, it's kind of creepy, but kind of cool." And it was just really an enjoyable time. It was just bringing back memories left and right. Now, how I introduced Michael to that is because I had him sit in the library and listen to Beatle music. And I go, "Okay, all the Beatle music, this person's singing here. This is John Lennon. We're gonna."
That library though was like a dream come true, because I mean, it was literally this kind of just forgotten wing in this community college, and you walk into this room and it's just like records and CDs. Like, it was insane. Like, the amount of music that was in that room.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Everything, to also like cassette tapes and vinyls and everything, man. It was a big collection for sure.
So what I did is I sat him down, put the headphones on, and said, "Listen, these are the Beatles, which he already knew about, but this is John Lennon, and we're going to be meeting his son in a couple of days." And when his son came in, he was just like blown away.
Yeah, that's great.
That's incredible.
And it was a good time.
Yeah, I love how you came back. You didn't let the first day wreck you, and that's, I think, the way a lot of these things start out. I remember when I did my first podcast, my phone was going off every 10 seconds. I didn't have my sound right, and I was choking up, and that's pretty common in this space. And I even Joe Rogan says, when he looked back, at his first episode, it was the same way, and it's just exciting. So when you're committed to the being and just the vision, and you get excited about how you show up, you get excited about what you're creating, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of like one of those make you or break you moments, because you could almost allow that that anxiety, that fear, kind of overtake you and then kind of stop you.
Yeah. It's like we were talking about the other day, about just starting, just being okay with going with where you're at and experiencing it, and not having to have everything figured out when you step into it. And that's with anything. I mean, I think there's a certain amount of awareness and preparation that does go into it that can serve you, but then there's that when is it time to just make that commitment. But I love that you went back. That's exciting.
One thing, getting back to Michael's art, through the years, you can see the maturity as he kept growing in his art. Even today, you can still tell that he keeps improving with his craft. And
amazing.
It's starting to, it's really good to see that.
It shows for itself.
It shows for itself.
When you put in the time, for sure, you will start to see your growth. It's just keeping at it.
You know what? It's funny, something just came up for me because obviously, Senior, you're such a great communicator being on the air, and I can tell you know your communication and know how to communicate. And then I was talking with Junior, the artist, the tattoo artist here the other day about communication as a tattoo artist and how much that is a piece of that space when you have people come in and the way you communicate with them and how you serve them through your voice while they're sitting there. I've got a few tattoos and I remember, man, those are some of the best conversations I've had. And I could about imagine how, certain experiences occur, certain types of individuals or the way they're showing up. There's quite a bit of communication that goes into that.
Yeah. And in this industry, as an artist or as a voice artist or a performer, you never, you're constantly growing. Okay. Every time you do a piece of art, every time you go on the air, every time you keep working on your craft, you just get that much better.
I agree with that to an extent, but you could also get to a point where you I think where some people get hung up too is they see their growth and they get really psyched about it, and then they kind of think they've arrived, and and then that's where it could stop, and then you don't grow, and then you just keep doing.
There was this line the other day I heard about the difference between contentment and complacency. I think contentment and appreciating what you've created and being proud of what you've done is a wonderful thing. But then as soon as you become complacent, that's when you start, dying off for those that negativity or that slower energy comes in, and it's enjoying, it's always finding that next spark, right? What's that area that I would love to see growth, or where, and I think that you're unavailable, or it's unavailable for you to see a lot of those things until you get to a certain point. Maybe there's something, and I don't know, maybe with when you were first in art and now you're tattooing, I don't know if you thought about being a tattoo artist originally. Same with voice work, and today we're talking about you being on a podcast, Mike Senior, and that was something I'm sure never occurred to you back in the day. So it's interesting to see the progression of these things.
Mm-hmm. And just trying to keep up with the times, basically.
And I think that's the goal as artists, is to continue to adapt with
present day.
Well, just even technology comes to mind, tools. Just the iPad. There's a lot of old school cats who are I just draw all my tattoos, But you can get such a clean stencil with using an iPad and probably have it done a lot faster than you would with just pencil and paper, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I think some people get kind of hung up on sticking to the old ways because they've worked for them for so long, but I think growing with the times and staying relevant, that's your job, I think, as an artist, is to stay relevant.
Stay relevant.
You gotta stay relevant so you can keep your message going, I think. Or you can continue to inspire people in different ways.
Yeah, something I didn't think about back then is because, a lot of the my recordings are on DAT tapes. Remember DAT?
Remember what tapes? I don't know what you're talking
DAT
about.
tapes?
What the heck is that?
Oh, see?
I'm like, what the
Oh,
fuck
man,
is
now
that?
I
Done
know.
yourself, Dad.
Oh,
Done.
oh. DAT tapes. It's just like the
DAT
8 tracks.
What
Okay,
is
come on.
that?
It's like,
I don't know what that is.
no,
What the hell is that?
DAT,
like
DAT
a cassette tape?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
well,
look
no, I think
like
they're these like there's these like boxy cartridges.
it's about this big. Okay, well, it's
They got like a little reel in there.
Back then they called it. It stood for digital analog tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It was like a cassette tape, but it was boxier. It was like I remember seeing those. Actually.
Yeah, you remember seeing it? Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck are those?
Yeah. A lot of that. I still have those tapes too.
So it looks like a blue, smaller version
or
of
black,
VHS.
Yeah.
And there's a section in there where there's tape rolled.
Huh.
That's how it was recorded.
Yeah, they called it a DAT tape, and they had DAT machines, and
Maybe
that was back then.
Yeah.
And a lot of my programs were recorded on that, so they're all sitting obsolete.
Too bad it was just right before the digital age.
I know.
Yeah.
This is before the
Like I mentioned, my first audition tape went on a cassette tape.
this is
Well,
what
I love the beginning set. Like it's fun talking about the rolling with the times and consistently growing, and it leads me to like wondering like what now that you guys are. Well, I know Mike Jr., a great tattoo artist, and then now I heard you mention that you're talking about podcasts, Mike Sr. So it's like it's fun seeing like okay, well that's where we came from. What do you guys talk about the future a little bit? What are you guys excited to create? What sparks your interest today?
Well, I want to continue on with what I was doing on the air. We were introducing at the time some known, some unknown artists. We were introducing their music, whereas we're providing them a platform that normally wouldn't be provided to them. And basically, that's what we want to do for local musicians and
awesome visual artists too.
and visual artists and so forth. It's we want to take the unsung heroes of LA and give them a platform to
That's amazing.
their craft.
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot of like homemakers, and it kind of almost falls in the art to some degree because it is.
Yeah.
Folk is kind of like this unlearned process of creating. It's not. It's not refined by technical skills. And so you kind of get these people who want to create a business or create some sort of way to create something and make money off of it, because they're really good at what they do. But how do you where do you start? And I think what we would provide through the podcast that we've been thinking about is providing that platform for those people, whether it be music, small business, or like visual art, and kind of keeping it where, we could shine the light on other people, like lifting other people up.
I love that. Like that. The community aspect, the serving aspect, and it's something like a space that you enjoy.
I'm just kind of taking the snobbery out of art, I think, in general, because I think art can be kind of like, oh, well, you're not that cool, or, I don't know. It really does kind of dismantle the snobbery of it all.
And on my end here, there's plenty of musicians out there in clubs. Buskers play out in the street, that they have material that they would like people to hear.
Yeah, or see.
And we want to open that up for them to bring. Let's bring it onto a podcast. Let's talk about your roots, where all this developed, and what do you have, and then give them a little promotion at the end. You know,
that's exciting. It's really
exciting. I think there's tons of people out there who want to express themselves musically and artistically. And I believe that if we provide that platform for them,
I think we got.
I think we have something here
for sure.
And it's all a matter of just doing it.
And it's tied to your passion, which that's if you enjoy doing it, you love doing it, and you're helping people. It's a fun opportunity. That as it occurs to me, that would be really fun for you guys. And I just think a lot of the musicians in LA too. Like there's so many of them. It would just be an exciting time opportunity. You never know what it can lead
Can you
to.
imagine all the cool people we're gonna meet?
It could lead to.
The future looks really cool, and things like podcasts make our dreams accessible. I think.
And we would invite them to send their material in so we can listen to them and everything. Just stay away from DAT tapes.
You're still doing DAT tapes.
Just doing DAT tapes. But
doing it wrong.
But we just want to make ourselves available to them and give them that avenue to be able to perform. Because we would like them to perform on air with us, for us. And, give us a sample.
What advice would you have for somebody? Maybe beginning their creative journey, whether that's as an artist, musician, or anything really. I mean, what? Because I know you guys have both had your journeys, one in art visually, one in art voice. What would you say to those folks?
Well, I mean, it's like almost anything. If you have a passion, you just got to keep pursuing it. You're going to get a lot of ups and downs in it, but you just can't lay down. You got to keep going. You got to keep promoting your brand. Always be willing to change it up. Be willing to make some changes. But basically, it's just to just don't lay down. Just keep going. Any avenue you can to get your product out there, so to speak.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think.
Don't give up.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Like never giving up. Though it can be difficult because I almost gave up a few times.
Well, we've all been there.
Right.
It all hasn't been all.
Yeah, I think that's just like life in general. And kind of being an artist is kind of discovering who you are as a person. If you're a creative person, you're kind of also discovering, like your voice is a direct echo of who you are inside, right? So it's like it's always evolving and it's always growing. I think if you want to become something, like it's achievable. You just gotta keep doing it, keep going, but also keep an open mind.
I would
willing to change. I think and to adapt. And to,
but yet again, let's stay like the name of this podcast. Be a true you.
I love
Be true you. You don't try to be somebody else. It's
and that's really fun. That like being true to yourself and your vision, but then also being willing to adapt to how to best display that best connect that to what the world has going on.
For me, it's this constant conversation of like, who am I? Like, what am I trying to, like, what do I want to see created? Like when I'm creating a flash sheet, it's mainly like, what do I want to get tattooed, or what do I want to tattoo? Which is an expression of like my human experience in likenesses or whatever things I'm interested in.
And for me, I remember going into the studio one time, and this was back when they had that who was his name for the movie trailers. in a world of this.
yeah,
I would
okay.
talk like that.
Oh, what was that guy's name?
I forget.
I forget.
I know.
It was like Nick or something.
In a world of,
So my dad.
it's like,
My
Is there
dad
any fun
say-
voice, any fun like iterations of any voiceover or intro like stuff that sticks with you, Mike, that you would share with us? Any? I just love how you said "in the world." I'm
in a
wondering.
world of, it's like, yeah, it's like, well, I did the intro. Well, since I was staff announcer for the radio station, I did the moniker that they played every half hour.
Yeah.
It was you're listening to radio supported FM 89.3 KPCC, covering all of Southern California. Something like that.
And this is what I like about podcasts. I can just be on the fly, which I don't have a problem with the like, I used to actually read off my intro every time that I did these things before I read the bio. Now we just have it recorded, but it's fun. Like, I like going with the flow, but it's fun because you're kind of acting too. Voiceover is you're a voice actor. It's
actor, right?
all art. It's just different forms of artistic expression.
Exactly.
But it's fun. Yeah.
Exactly. And in voiceovers, you can go into many avenues, with cartoons and commercials, and I mean, it's just all over the place. And like I mentioned in the past, when we talked last, a lot of even the name artists now, those who have a celebrity to their name now, they're taking those roles. They're like, no, taking it away from us. It's like,
Well, yeah, and we can't get caught up on that. I mean, your gifts are right. Like what? Well, how can I best express my gift with what I have available to me right now, and tie that into the vision. I love the podcast idea you guys have. And then I think you'll learn more and more about how that vision can expand, or what areas of that are the most enjoyable or most impactful. And I it's easy, even with podcasts, it's easy to get caught up in, well, Joe Rogan's already taken all the listeners. Like, sure, sure he is, but there's an audience for everyone, and it's if you enjoy doing it, if you love it, then that's it. And I think you can just tell, like, some people are really good at covering shit up, but you can usually tell when somebody really loves what they do, and it comes out in their work as an art, as a tattoo artist, or as a radio broadcaster, as an actor, actress, or musician. You can just tell, and that love is really what I think will be the lasting fact. That's probably how it just, maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that a piece of what pushed you guys through those hardships, or those quitting, or the attempts, or the temptation, to quit those experiences, that love of the craft? I'm sure that showed up. Or
well, like anything too, life happens, and you gotta take care of life. And then come back to your passion later. But,
I don't know. With me, I just kept going. I was like, I'll be homeless for a second. It's okay. I got to sleep in a broken down RV. Got it. I'll do it.
That's being a true artist right there. Yeah. So,
willing to sacrifice. It only led to.
Yeah, I think there are I was taking this art class at Art Center years ago, and I wasn't really the greatest student at all, but my teacher, he sat down next to me one time, and he was like, "So you're really trying to do this, huh? You're really trying to be an artist?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well," he's like, "you're in for a rocky road, bro."
Oh.
But I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess so,
Yeah. Thanks for the motivation, asshole.
Yeah.
I
think for me, the way I took it at that point was like, all right, yeah, bring it on. Road, like, all right. I'm like, that doesn't, I don't know.
And that what comes up for me is like your vision for me doesn't compare to my vision for me.
Exactly.
I'm gonna feed that. I'm gonna feed that. And it's fun when like that's just auxiliary. That's just like, okay, give me another reason to pursue my passion.
Yeah. For me, there was a discouraging point way in the beginning. This goes back to, I think, the late 70s or early 80s. I attempted to get into the broadcast business then. Okay. And I worked with a gentleman. His name was Bill Welsh. Now, he was a local sports newscaster for KTLA, Channel 5 out here in LA. And he also had his own program called Dojo Dugout, where he interviewed, the Dodgers, just basically a sports program, so he had a popularity or a name.
Yeah.
And I sat there, I told him, hey, this is what we're going to do, and this, that. And he discouraged me.
Yeah.
He goes, I wouldn't do it. I go, what? He goes, how dare you? But that was a discouraging point in my life. And I was like, no, I'm not going to let that happen.
Ask every artist or every musician or every broadcaster. I bet you they've got a couple of those stories. And I bet most folks that have done the craziest shit have the most of those stories.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun. Like, let's just
collect. I think you're always just gonna run.
Have a hater count. I think that's been brought up on one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
The more haters I got, hey, that's cool. That's.
Don't listen to the haters.
Bring it on. Yeah. But I never let that down. I continued to have that desire, that passion burning in my heart. So whenever I had the opportunity, I would try to do something. When it came to announcing or being an MC for something, I would be more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
It's just and things develop after a while. So again, like I said,
I think this podcast is going to really help you kind of step back into that.
Hey, realm. Yeah! Cheers to what you guys are creating with my.
Hey, right on. Stay the course.
Intercontinental in San Francisco. They don't have any beer here, but.
Yeah, stay in the course.
This went quick. They usually do when you have a good chat. It's fun chat, and we're gonna chat more. And I'm open to helping. I know we talked about that. I'd love to get involved with your guys' creation and your vision for helping the locals and the music and artists
and hopefully one day we can expand it and take it to other areas of not only Los Angeles but maybe other parts of maybe San Diego, San Francisco.
We got the whole world, right?
let's do it, man. That's incredible. So a couple of things I got a couple last questions for you. One is where can we find both of you guys? Now I don't know if there's only any of those DAP tapes that we can search up for you, or if there's any. Is there anywhere that we can find any of your old stuff, or is there a place?
I do have a commercial reel that I have. It's kind of dated, but it's got like 5 or 6 different spots.
True, though.
Yeah.
A new one is in order for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on. Is it on YouTube? I don't think it is.
I don't know.
Is there anywhere we can stalk you, Senior, on the internet, or you got it?
Well, right now you can email me if you have questions.
All right, we're gonna get you up to date here. We're gonna roll. No, I love it.
This is just the beginning, folks.
If we can get those reels, we're
gonna get that on Instagram and a TikTok.
Wait a minute, I can have an Instagram.
And we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you a Twitter account.
I love it. We'll share the reels with the audience if we can find those bad boys. It'll be fun. And for you, Junior, you're at Kiss Studios, Venice Beach, just down the road.
Yeah.
Love that. Where else can we find you? Are you on IG or?
Right now I'm just on Instagram. At Liquid Brain Tattoos.
Liquid Brain Tattoos. Okay, and that's spelled liquid with the
correctly. Yes.
All right, we changed. Okay.
Fully evolved into my natural name.
Well, let's put it this way: if you want to contact me, anybody out there, contact Liquid Brain or the TRU-U.
Yeah, you can reach out and ask for Mike. We'll connect you with him. I love it. I love that. No, this has been really exciting. I love getting the chance to talk to both of you. It's really
It's my pleasure.
it's not often that you see such a beautiful dynamic between father and son. I mean, yeah, there you go. Give him a noogie. I love that. Yeah, give him a spanking when he just no, I'm just kidding. It's
pain on me.
yeah. No, well, we did hear a story that the audience didn't get to hear about that one time you stepped out of line there, Mike Jr. But
Yeah.
we'll save that for another time.
We'll say that.
But no, this has been exciting. I love seeing how close you guys are and how you drive each other's creativity and passions. It's really fun. One last thing before we go, we always ask, what's a broad message or anything that's speaking to you that you both have for the TRU-U audience, something valuable to leave them with?
Well, the old saying, like, stay the course. And whatever you do, stay the course, because you'll get there.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, and I would say, live by love. For sure. Like, do everything in that scope of things of love, because it pretty much all boils down to that.
Do what you love and stay the course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for hopping on, and thank you everybody for tuning in. And it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. And I'm sure we'll talk soon. And I'm excited to work with you on your vision.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.